Hello and welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for fantasy Premier League content for the 2023-23 season, and welcome to the Game Week 4 strategy stream in the direct aftermath of the Liverpool United game, or United-Liverpool game, should I say. That game was just finished, and what a game week. What a game week, guys. I'm gonna try. I think the main aim of this strategy stream, I think, is gonna be to try and make everyone feel a little bit better, a little bit calmer, because it really has been a crazy, strange, just a bizarre game week, and this will happen from time to time. It's just one of those things. Like, sometimes this will happen, and often it's the case that the best thing to do is not overreact too much. It has been an absolutely it's been a shocking game week. It's been a brutal game week. It's been a tough game week. It's been very hard for the FPL player to play well. I mean, it's just been very difficult to play FPL this week. It just has. The points that I ended up on was 42, I think. Let me just double check that on my live score. Yeah, 42 points, which, I mean, I was sitting at 25 this morning, so I suppose it's a little bit better than that. But still, I honestly feel like if you got any more than 50 points this game week, you've done incredibly well. And if you've got in the region of 70 or 80 points, I think it's probably because you have a bad team. I know that sounds it sounds crazy, and it's a very a big generalization, but if you had a really good score this week, how have you managed that? Because I want to show you guys. This is the team of the week, the FPL team of the week. Obviously, this will update after the United game, but I don't think it will change very much. But just to give you an example of some of the highest scoring players this game week, and some of them, in fairness, are not bad picks. Some of them are not bad picks. You know, we look at Perisic, we look at Rodrigo. That's kind of like semi expected, not super expected, but you can understand why they would get high points. But Che Adams, Johnson, like, who's got the, all us talking about Haaland and Kane and Jesus, and Che Adams and Brennan Johnson are the top two scoring forwards of the game week. Like, who in their right mind owns these players? We've got players like Bernardo, who is meant to be leaving. He's meant to be going to Barcelona, and now he's suddenly scoring a 13-pointer. So who in their right mind owns Bernardo Silva? Saint-Maximin, obviously always a risky pick. Like, I don't care what you say, and people will say, I picked Saint-Maximin and I knew he was going to do well against Man City. Did you heck? Who's going to predict Saint-Maximin's going to score a 13-pointer against Manchester City? No one. Now, Rodrigo and Harrison, obviously nobody expected that against Chelsea. Another shock result, resulting in surprise players, surprise players scoring really highly. Now, like I say, Rodrigo, I think, is a good pick, and I'm not totally surprised he got points out of this game. 13 points is a little bit much. 14 points for Harrison, absolutely ludicrous. Odegaard, people like I kind of spoke a little bit about Odegaard earlier in my video earlier, and people weren't too happy with me saying this. And I'll show you on Fantasy Football Hub on the Opta stats, but if we go to Odegaard, I have to use the special O. But if we go to Odegaard and then we look at his opening 2 game weeks. So his opening 2 game weeks, you can see this on screen, right, guys? His opening 2 game weeks, he had an expected goals of 0.07 and an expected assists of 0.11. That is not a good FPL pick. He's dropped down to 6.4 million. For a reason, right? Because people kind of looked at him and thought, yes, great player, but is he contributing directly to goals? Absolutely not. And he's one of the highest scoring players of the game week. Like, in fairness, he did do very well. Don't get me wrong. But even in game week 3, like, his 0.62 expected goals, and he got 2 goals out of that. Pretty wild. Sometimes crazy things happen in football. That's just football, right? Veltman, 8-pointer against West Ham. I don't think too many people automatically assumed that Brighton would get a clean sheet against West Ham, but you can kind of see how that could happen. Perisic, fair play, no complaints about Perisic. You could kind of see that coming, right? Perisic, it looked like he was going to start, and he looked quite good. So absolutely fair play to anyone who went early on Perisic. Fair play, good shout, nice. Saliba. I've got no problem with Saliba. Fantastic footballer. Arguably Arsenal's best player so far this season, or certainly one of. To score a wonder goal like that, to score a strike like that, who saw that coming? No one saw that coming. And then Martinez, the most overpriced goalkeeper in FPL, playing for a tragic Aston Villa defence that conceded 3 goals, saves a penalty, and gets a 10-pointer. Can you, on a reel... I'm pacing right now, guys. On a reel, what was this game week? So much so that I'm not even drinking blackcurrant squash today. Out of protest, we've moved to orange squash. It's orange squash time, guys. Anyway, one more point to illustrate how much of a weird, just pure weird game week we've had this week. The 10 we've got, all of us have been hyping up the premium defenders. Everyone's talking about premium defenders, go big at the bag, spend a lot of money on defenders, and typically I think that is still a good idea. The top 10 most expensive defenders in game week 3 scored 3 points between them. 10 premium defenders, 3 points combined. You cannot make this up. It is such unexpected results. It really is crazy. If other people want, if I can try and make you feel better anymore, which is really kind of a lot of what this stream I think has to be. You guys might have heard of a very famous FPL manager called Fabio Borges. He is he's widely considered to be the best FPL manager in the world. I think he got 44 points this week. The best FPL manager in the world of all time, 44 points in game week 3. Now, if that doesn't illustrate to you what a freak of a game week it has been, then I don't know what will. So what I'm trying to say to you guys is that if you had a bad game week, it's not because you have a bad team. It's not because you're bad at FPL. It's not because of any of that. It's just one of those game weeks. It's just one of those game weeks where things just don't go to plan. It just didn't follow the script. There was a lot of unexpected results. If we go through the results of this game week, look at these fixtures. Who's predicting some of these results? Spurs 1-0 against Wolves, fine. Crystal Palace 3-1, fine. Everton, Nottingham Forest, fine. But then we get to Fulham 3-2 against Brentford. Don't think anyone saw that one coming. Leicester losing 2-1 to Southampton. Don't think anyone saw that one coming. Bournemouth, Arsenal beating Bournemouth. Arsenal are the only team that are actually showing any consistency right now, guys. I don't know if you guys agree with that. We've got a new member, by the way. I probably should shout him out. Andre G, thank you very much for becoming a member of the channel. And Aditya, you've got a super chat in here for me as well. Robbo, 5.5, is that 5.5 points per 90 for 4 seasons? Big haul is on the card. Aditya, I completely agree with you. I don't think Robertson has been individually a bad pick. Liverpool's defence, though, are just looking, well, today, certainly, it looked absolutely shambolic. And it is just crazy. Going further through these results. Leeds beating Chelsea 3-0. Who saw that coming? West Ham losing 2-0 to Brighton. Maybe in hindsight, that kind of seems like it could happen. But, Newcastle 3-3. We're talking Newcastle and Man City, two of the best defences in not just the Premier League, but in world football over the last 6 months or so in 2022. And they've managed to, they've drawn 3-3. And of course, Man United, who have been diabolical this season, embarrassing this season, turned up, played phenomenally. Liverpool all over the place, and they beat them 2-1. Who saw that coming? Last number with the super chat says Salah to De Bruyne. I would not be doing that, no. Salah plays Bournemouth next game week, by the way. So, I mean, I think this is like, obviously you guys are probably going to want me primarily to talk about Liverpool players right now and whether, we should be removing Liverpool players. Can you really, really, really remove Liverpool players when they're about to play Bournemouth at home? Like, I understand that, people will say, well, Liverpool players are not doing very well. They're not performing at the standard we expect them to. But if you had some Aston Villa players, for example, who are, pretty tragic as well, you'd be playing them against Bournemouth. If you had some Crystal Palace or, any mid-table team. Say Liverpool, assume Liverpool are playing at mid-table level. I don't think they are, but assume they are playing at mid-table level. You would still keep those players in a game at home against Bournemouth, wouldn't you? So, it makes no ends how bad Liverpool are playing. When you get a fixture like this, you probably trust the plan a little bit and trust the fact that we know that these are good football players and that they can pop up at any moment. The Heroic Doses says Robbo / Bailey to Diaz / Gross, 2 free transfers and 0 in the bank. I would not be doing that transfer personally, I don't think, no. I mean, I guess if it allows you to upgrade Bailey, then maybe that could be semi-worth it, but I don't know. I like Bailey could start against West Ham and do quite well, maybe. It could happen. I personally cannot see myself selling. By the way, Robertson was incredibly close to getting an assist. If Firmino finished that chance, it was basically on the line. Like he really should have finished that one particular chance. So Robbo could have had an assist, and if that had happened, we'd all be having a very, very different conversation. But that's football. That's FPL, I suppose. But would I be doing that? I just cannot see myself. I can't see myself removing Robertson ahead of this game. I wouldn't even, whatever Liverpool players you've got, just stick with them. But maybe argument to not buy anymore, I guess. Ahmed with the super chat says, Goatcron content creator. Thank you very much, Ahmed. By the way, we're winning the league. Come on, you Gunners. I mean, Arsenal are in a very good position. A very good position indeed. Noel says 43 points behind first in my mini league, feel very deflated. Like I was saying though, like if you've fallen behind this week, it's not because you've got a bad team. If you got a really high score, and I go back to this team of the week, if you had this team, if I had this team right now, if I had this exact FPL team, I would have scored 134 points this game week, and you'd all be calling me a genius. And yet, I would have to go into game week 4 with this team, And if I go into game week 4 with this team, let me tell you, it does not score 134 points again. It scores 30 to 40 points next week. You know what I'm saying? So, yes, some people in your mini leagues or whatever may seem to have really crazy scores this game week. But if they do, it's because they've got Che Adams in their team. It's because they've got Bernardo, who might be sold. It's because they got Veltman. It's because they got, Martinez in goal for some reason. It's because they got Odegaard, who, gets 2 goals and 2 assists every 20 games. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I don't think it's time to panic too much. I would far rather have my team that scored a very modest 42 points than this team going into game week 4. And that's, I think, what you've got to think about. Yes, did you get the results you wanted this week? Probably not. But does that mean that you have a bad team? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. So, look, I feel like a lot of the big dogs, a lot of the players we expected to do well, didn't do very well this game week. I mean, I can point to other players. We can point to Gabriel Jesus, for example. 4-pointer seems a little bit harsh. Yellow card and an assist. It's he could have got so much more. Offside chance or goal, should I say? Another few chances to score more goals or a goal. Harry Kane scored the only goal in a 1-0 game, a 1-0 win, but because he got a yellow card, didn't get very many bonus points. Haaland scored a goal, no bonus points. You know, like the defenders is just, you know, an entirely different conversation. We know how badly the defenders did this game. We know how badly it was. But going forward, are we suddenly saying that Cancelo scored a 0-pointer in game week 3? Now he's never going to score again. I mean, remember last week he scored 11 points, week before 7. So look at these fixtures: Crystal Palace, Nottingham Forest, Aston Villa. Are you considering selling Cancelo because he got a 0-pointer this week? No. Are you considering selling Alexander-Arnold? Bournemouth next? Surely not. Surely not. I just think a little bit of calm is needed, which is difficult right now because it has been a crazy one. It has been an absolutely crazy one. But if you would like to. Yeah, someone's just commented, put in the super chat. Josh not in the super chat, in the normal chat. Josh has just said in the chat that Patterson, the 4 million defender, was my highest scoring defender. Alexander, right? If we go into this game week, and I say who is going to score the most points, Alexander-Arnold, Robertson, James, Cancelo, or Patterson? Who are you going to say is going to score the most points? Sometimes things don't go to plan. Sometimes things. Randomness happens in football. It happens. Christian Cuevas says, gonna give Saka and Robbo one more week. Don't feel the same with some. KDB, premium striker, leaning more towards banking a transfer and grabbing KDB. You know what? I kind of regret saying, like early in my video earlier, I said, would I transfer out Son to KDB? And I said, I don't think I would do that. But actually, like, I would consider doing that. You know, is it a sideways move? Yeah, the thing is that the problem is that the next fixture is that Nottingham Forest fixture. What would you rather have? KDB against Crystal Palace, Son against Forest. On form, it's KDB, isn't it? And maybe we need to just, you know, go back to form versus fixture, and in that case, KDB. But you wouldn't be totally surprised if Son got a nice 12 or so pointer against Nottingham Forest, would you? Which is why it's kind of one of those transfers where you kind of hold your breath whilst you make the transfer a little bit, don't you? But I do kind of understand that. Like, Son to KDB is not the worst transfer in the world. I can understand why you would do that, to be fair. So maybe go for that, Christian. Andre G says, would you advise downgrading Saka to Martinelli and taking a -4 and upgrading James next to Perisic with double Liverpool defence and Cancelo? Upgrading to James, or, you know, like certainly I wouldn't be removing James, no way. I wouldn't be removing Perisic. I wouldn't be removing Liverpool defenders or Cancelo necessarily. If you're upgrading to James or upgrading to Perisic, then yeah, like Saka down to Martinelli to fund another improvement, I think is fine. Now, by the way, guys, like us Saka guys, we do have to accept that because of the way life is, as soon as you remove Saka, you know he's going to outscore Martinelli. As soon as you make that swap, it's going to happen. That is just the way FPL works, or seems to work anyway. But no, definitely, even if Saka does outscore Martinelli, you know, Saka is, 1.5, 1.6 more expensive than Martinelli? Something like that. 1.5 maybe at this moment. And as such, it's okay for Saka to outscore Martinelli. You expect Saka to outscore Martinelli. As long as Martinelli can continue to at least compete, then I think that's all you're kind of looking for, really. So yeah, if you can free up 1.5 million by downgrading Saka to Martinelli, even if it means taking a -4, and you can use that 1.5 million to make a significant upgrade to a different area in your team, upgrading a Bailey, upgrading one of your defenders, something like that, then absolutely, I implore it. I think that's a good idea. Couple more super chats here. Last number, who says, wildcard to get Perisic, Rodrigo, Robbo, Edison, and KDB. I don't think you need to get Edison necessarily. I don't think you need to get KDB either. So that really just kind of, I mean, I wouldn't wildcard to get Robertson either, I don't think. So really, you're just wildcarding to get Perisic and Rodrigo, and you can probably do that with a -4. So, yeah, maybe instead consider a -4 rather than the wild card and just get Perisic and Rodrigo. That's probably what I would do in your situation. Harry says, Robbo, Bailey, Iverson to Gabriel, Rodrigo and Sanchez. Not sure how I feel about that one, to be honest. I'm guessing you're one of those poor unfortunate souls who started with four 4 million goalkeepers. The double Leicester goalkeeper rotation, a little bit yikesy, but it's one of those things, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, the goalkeeper upgrade, I very rarely recommend a goalkeeper transfer, but this kind of seems like one that you kind of may need to do. Rodrigo is obviously a clear upgrade on Bailey. Gabriel is an okay pick, I suppose, as well. Look, overall, the 3 players that you're bringing in are good. If you're taking a -8 to do that, though, you're losing Robertson and you're taking a -8. You may live to regret that a little bit, because I feel like on this particular game week, Robbo, Bailey, and I'm guessing Ward could compete with the 3 players you're bringing in if you take into consideration that -8 as well. So just have a deep think about it, I suppose, my friend. We've got a few more super chats. We will continue to read them out as they come in. We've got some sound advice from Chris W. Let's not panic. It's unlucky. You're absolutely right, Chris. Chris W for a reason. Chris Dub. And another dub from Chris Dub. Senan Campbell says, what to do with Mason Mount? Sell or keep? I feel like, yeah, it may be time to remove Mason Mount. I know, he's got Leicester next, which is a good fixture, but I don't know. It's difficult. I feel like there's so many better options. If you've got a Mason Mount, you've got so many players you can downgrade to. We've got kind of Rodrigo, we've got Martinelli, we've got players like, maybe Zaha next game week rather than this game week, because you probably don't want to bring in Zaha ahead of Man City. But Gundogan maybe is looking pretty good right now, isn't he? So he's another player you could potentially downgrade to. Pascal Gross, I still think looks okay. To get 6 points from him this week, by the way. It's a shame he's not on penalties, of course, because we really did think he would be. But 6 points from a 5.5-ish million midfielder, you take that. If he gets that every week, you are absolutely laughing. So yeah, there's lots of options in midfield. Lots of options in midfield right now. And yeah, for that reason, I feel like you maybe need to sell Mason Mount if you still are holding on to him. Aki Laurie says, would you take out Walker or Robbo for Perisic? Honestly, I would ahead of this fixture, I would probably take out Walker. I feel like Robertson deserves one more game week against Bournemouth. It seems really difficult. Like, if it doesn't work out against Bournemouth, then look, double Liverpool defence is just fully in the mud, and you just have to accept that. I mean, even at this point, I fully accept that, in the battle between Robbo and Diaz looks like the better FPL pick right now, and I've got that one wrong by going for Robertson. I didn't think things would turn out this way. I didn't think Liverpool would be quite as bad defensively as they have been at the start of this season, but they are. That's an unfortunate fact of life, and we're seeing a pattern emerging now where Liverpool are just conceding chances and looking disorganised and not being quite the same as they have been, making individual mistakes. It's not good. But the fixture is Bournemouth. And like I was saying earlier, if you had a Luca Digne who was about to play Bournemouth at home, you would be playing him, right? And no one thinks Luca Digne is as good of an FPL asset as Robertson, am I right? So, yeah, this game week is a special case. And if Liverpool are playing, Arsenal next or Man City next, or even like a Brighton or a Brentford or someone like that, I think Newcastle, I think you would consider removing Robertson, even if you're not replacing him with another Liverpool player, just straight up removing him. But it's that Bournemouth fixture to me that makes me say keep. So, yeah, I think so. Aziz says, should I get rid of Inform Madison against Chelsea? Thinking of Kulusevski, I can't get Saka because I have Saliba, got him game 3 wildcard. Oh, yeah, you just did a wildcard. Okay. I think you could get rid of Madison. The problem is there's just so many other good FPL options right now in that midfield bracket, right? Rodrigo, surely is one, even Rashford down at 6.3 million, played well today. Rashford, really impressive, looked really back to his old self, didn't he? I know it's just one game week, maybe do we take that in isolation? Southampton is the next fixture. Rashford could be like an interesting punt to go for. He's got like Rashford is crazy. He's gone for wow 6.5 amazing value must have all the way to wow I can't believe I trusted Manchester United player must sell all the way down to 6.3 million and then all the way back up. Like FPL is so fickle and we're all guilty of it. We are all guilty of it. You know, just flip flapping your mind constantly get based on one game week, and it feels like that's happened again. Are Man United suddenly a much better team? Are they? Is that everything resolved now? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so. Rodrigo looks like the guy, right? Doesn't he? Martinelli and Rodrigo, I think, are the two dream midfielders to get. If you're downgrading midfielders, those are the two you'd go for. Jakob says, in the past, I would wildcard like an idiot and get rid of Trent or Robbo and fill with players that did well this game week to get a whopping 35 points in game week 4. This is exactly what I'm saying, Jakob, and I'm glad you've kind of learned that you just because Veltman scored 8 points last game week, it doesn't mean he's going to outscore a Trent next game week who scored 0 points. Trent 0-pointer. They make it make sense. Cancelo 0-pointer. Trent 0-pointer. James 1-pointer. Robertson 1-pointer. One of those weeks. I feel like that's going to be the catchphrase of the week. One of those weeks. Yeah, but you're absolutely right, Jakob, and thank you very much for the super chat, my friend. Ed Dub, thank you very much for the super sticker there, and an absolute dub from you, my friend. An absolute dub for sending me 2 English pounds. I appreciate it, my friend. Aaron says, should I do Saka to Martinelli and Nico to Perisic for a -4? Which, ironically, was the exact -4 that I was considering last week. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw my team selection video, but I said, I can either just do a straight swap of Neto to Gross, which, to be fair, that was a net gain of 4 points. So that still was a good transfer. Like, I gained 4 points doing that transfer, so I'm not complaining or anything. But my other option, like I said, I might do, was Patterson. Was it? Yeah, it was Patterson and Saka to Martinelli and Perisic. And if I had done that, I would have been up significantly. That would have been a very, very good pair of transfers. And I didn't do it. So, yeah, you're talking about doing a similar transfer move this week. I spoke about it last week. I regret not doing it last week. So how can I say anything but it's a good transfer. It's a good pair of transfers. I like it. I do like it. By the way, guys, I would be kind of cautious. I'd be cautious about saying, like, going too hard on Perisic, because this is a transfer that may be one that frustrates you a little bit. It may frustrate you a little bit because we look through some of these, the fixture congestion, right? Nottingham Forest, game week 4. 3 days after that, on Wednesday, we got West Ham away. So back-to-back away games within 3 days of each other. There's probably going to be a benching in this kind of area. Perisic probably plays 2 out of 3 of these games. And then there's Man City. So what we're really looking at is two opportunities for points really in the next 4. So just be aware of that. Now, the great thing about Perisic is because he's basically a striker listed as a defender, and he's only 5.4 million, which is also amazing, is that even if, right, for example, he doesn't play, he blanks against City because it's City, and, doesn't even play against West Ham, gets a 1-pointer against West Ham. 1-pointer against City, 1-pointer against West Ham. Say that does happen. The upside that he could have in that Forest and the Fulham game, like, he could get an insane score for those 2 game weeks. Like, he could get, 15 pointers in each of those games. And if that happens, it doesn't really matter if he gets a 1-pointer against West Ham and a 1-pointer against Man City. As long as you're not one of those FPL managers who rips up your entire team based on 1 game week's worth of data, then you'll be absolutely fine. Be prepared for some blanks. And that's all I'm going to say on that one. Ivan Perisic will blank probably twice in the next 4 game weeks, and you're going to have to hold him through that, and you're going to have to trust him through that. It's just the kind of FPL pick he is, really. I think minutes risk enough of a minute's risk to say that he's probably got a 1-pointer in there somewhere. So, yeah, something to consider. Janina says, got Gabriel and Trippier, 0.5 exact for Perisic. Who to sell? Exact money for Perisic. Who to sell? Oh, right, sorry, I see what you're saying. So, who to sell out of Gabriel and Trippier? Head says Trippier. I don't know. Arsenal, you're expecting clean sheets here, aren't you? You're expecting clean sheets against... But, I mean, are you? Like, are you... Are you expecting clean sheets against Fulham and Aston Villa? Like, Fulham and Aston Villa have both shown that they can score goals. Gabriel, you're just waiting for a corner header, really, aren't you? You're just waiting patiently and hoping he scores a corner header. That's pretty much the whole point in owning Gabriel. He'll be one of those players who randomly pops up with a 15-pointer. I think I would probably sell Gabriel. Trippier's got okay fixtures this week, if I remember rightly. Yeah, Wolves away. So you're expecting a clean sheet from Trippier this week, really. And then Liverpool. Who knows what kind of Liverpool team are going to turn up? Am I right? Who knows? So probably Gabriel. Probably the one to go for, because as soon as Gabriel loses his clean sheets, you're pretty much mudded, aren't you? Andre says, are you sticking to Saka this week? Too scared to do the downgrade yet? Don't be too scared to do the downgrade, Andre. I mean, if you can improve the rest of your team, you can use the money wisely, then I think it's worth doing. Like, if by downgrading Saka to Martinelli, you arguably if improved that slot. Yes, Saka could outscore Martinelli on an individual game week. It could happen, of course it could. Saka could get a penalty next game week and it looks like a terrible decision, right? But Martinelli's playing well in open play. So arguably you've made an upgrade there, despite the fact that you've just freed up 1.5 million. And if you can use that 1.5 million, if you can use 1.5 million to upgrade a Bailey to a Rodrigo, or a Bailey to a Rashford, or a Bailey to a... who else? Like, you can't get Martinelli twice, although I'm sure we all wish we could. Or upgrade Neto to a Zaha, or, etc., etc., etc. Upgrade a Nico Williams or a Patterson up to a Perisic. If you can do that by downgrading Saka to Martinelli, then it is 100% worth it, in my opinion. Because, yes, you can say Saka might outscore Martinelli this week, but will Saka and Patterson outscore Martinelli and Perisic this week? No. Will Saka and Neto outscore Martinelli and Rodrigo this week? Probably not. So look, as a double transfer, if both transfers significantly improve your team, then I mean that's a no-brainer, right? It seems like a good move. So I wouldn't be scared to do it. Sometimes you just gotta take the L. Sometimes you just gotta take that L for loser. Sos N says, should I take a -4 and replace Ward? Who's the best goalkeeper for upcoming weeks? Alisson looks decent and I can afford him. I would not go for Alisson. But I mean, if we're talking about selling Robertson, then we're definitely not talking about buying Alisson. Sanchez, I'd probably go for Sanchez at Brighton, to be honest. I wouldn't mind having a Brighton defender. Like, I don't have a Brighton defender, but looking at these, Leeds at home, Fulham away, Leicester at home, Bournemouth away, Crystal Palace at home. It's a nice little five. It's a nice little quintlet. Not sure what the word is there. It's a nice little combination of 5 fixtures for those boys. I kind of like Raya as well for fixtures. Let's just click on Raya as well. Everton at home, Crystal Palace away, Leeds at home, Southampton away, and then after Arsenal, we've got Bournemouth away there as well. Brighton at home in 11. I kind of like Raya as well. Raya or Sanchez, I think probably Sanchez, but maybe Raya as well in terms of goalkeepers. If you have to sell, it's probably not going to be Ward. You'll probably sell Iverson, right, and keep Ward on your bench. Iverson, by the way, probably going to turn out to be the first 3.9 goalkeeper. Have we got any 3.9 goalkeepers yet? Not sure. But Iverson, if we haven't, then Iverson is surely favourite for that position, right? Surely. Got a super chat here from Dev who says, Kulu to Diaz already done. Thoughts? I mean, it's not bad. I mean, I think that's an improvement. Is it enough of an improvement to be worth using a transfer on? Maybe. I guess time will tell. But yeah, I mean, you've definitely improved your team, and that's what transfers are for, guys. Improving your team, and just to go back to the don't panic, don't overdo it, don't overthink it based on this one freak game week 3, because it really has been a freak game week. You don't improve your team by swapping out. I don't know who blanked this game week. Who's quite a good midfielder? Who's like a good midfielder that a lot of people have, I guess. Like who may be blank this week? Ward-Prowse? Maybe that's a bad example. But look, you don't improve your team by transferring out I don't know. Like if you went Martinelli to Odegaard, for example, both the same price. Odegaard outscored Martinelli considerably this week. If you make that transfer, you haven't improved your team. You're just chasing points. And we've got to remember that you don't get points in retrospect. These points for these players that you see on screen right now, these knee-jerk type transfers, and most of these are, I think, other than Perisic and Rodrigo. Excuse me. I'm just allergic to to bad game weeks, apparently. Aside from Rodrigo and Perisic, I would say, arguably, if every single player here, if you're transferring them in now, every single one other than Perisic and Rodrigo are knee-jerk transfers that you're probably going to regret. All of them, other than Perisic and Rodrigo. Saliba is a special case because although he got 14 points for 4.6 million to get, regular games, regular clean sheets, I think that's okay. Don't expect him to get those points. If you get these players in, other than Perisic and Rodrigo, if you get these players in now, you don't get their points from last game week. They're gone. Those points, Odegaard's 16 points are gone. You can never have access to that. Unless you already had Odegaard, you have no access to them. You never will. They're gone. Forget about them. Move on. Look who's going to score points next game week. Don't look who scored points last game week. Points are a poor indicator of future points. I'm say they're a poor indicator. They are one of the way when you consider all of the ways you can find out try and work out who's going to score points next game week. Expected goals, expected points, expected assists, shots in the box, expected goals conceded, etc., etc., etc. All of these metrics are so much more useful than just looking at last week's points, which is, I suppose I should plug my affiliation with Fantasy Football Hub. Everyone go to the link in the description to get, I think we got 30% off at the moment. I think the link in the description is a 30% off your membership. And you can get access to this tool, which I think is, this tool is my everything. Let's have a look at this tool actually, because I do feel like I do want to give you guys a taste. You can have a look at this, guys, for free, by the way. And if you just want the full access, it does come at a few pounds per month. But I just think having access to these stats is just so essential. It's just so essential. Like if you're serious about FPL, you've got to have these kind of tools in your locker. Has two says rank these three long term: Salah, Haaland, and KDB. Probably Salah number one. Think I prefer KDB to Haaland at the moment, genuinely. So I guess Salah first, KDB second, and Haaland third. Michael at Naziris, I feel like you're trying to send me a message. You've sent me a couple of £1 super chat. I think that it only lets you put a message in with a super chat at something like £1.60 or above. I'm not exactly how it works, but if you do put a message in the chat, Michael, I will keep an eye out for it. But anyway, quick look at this. The first few game weeks, because I think there are some really interesting trends that have emerged statistically. Again, link in the description if you want to check this out. But we can see, if we go on expected goals, I want to show you this, guys. I want to show you this. Expected goals in the opening three, and I don't think it's quite updated with the Liverpool and Manchester United game week 3 stats yet. So this is going to be slightly behind right now. It will be updated tomorrow, so we'll check it out again tomorrow. But Mitrovic, 3.76 expected goals. Wow-wee. Haaland, 3.37. Haaland actually underperforming. Can you imagine that? So I mean, you probably can. You kind of saw the Pope masterclass, right? But Haaland is showing that he can score some points. Remember, though, Haaland is going to be rotated. Pep's already said that when the games start to build up, you know, Haaland is not going to play 2 games a week. Pep has literally said that Haaland is not going to play 2 games in a week, and like in like a week's time. That's all going to change. Michael says, my question was, do you think Robertson could get rotated for Tsimikas against Bournemouth? I don't think so. Yeah, I mean, yes, it could happen. Do I think it's likely? Not really. Liverpool need their best players. They need a reaction. And I think Robertson will be among them. I don't think Robertson has had individually poor performances. The defence, would you say that Robertson is any more likely, if not for Tsimikas being there as a backup? You know, there's been lots of mistakes. Van Dijk's not looked himself. Trent has certainly defensively not looked himself. Fabinho has already been dropped, I suppose. But my thing is, like, are we really pointing the finger at Robertson? I know it because he's been subbed off late in games. Kind of suggests that maybe he could get rotated, but I think that's just because he's just running non-stop, Robertson, at the moment. So that's what I would say on that one. Anyway, one thing to note, though, about these top expected goals players. So we've got Mitrovic, Haaland and Zaha as the top 3 expected goals. Is that they've all taken at least 1 penalty. So I'm going to switch this up to goal threat for the stat type. And if we look at non-penalty expected goals, we are still seeing Haaland and Mitrovic leading the way. So it's not just penalties for these guys. Darwin, by the way, 2 games and he's competing with these guys. Kane is right up there. So I think this is something that we want to keep an eye on, really. Kane, rotation proof, great fixtures coming up. Hasn't taken a penalty yet. If Kane had 1 penalty so far this season, which is as many as Haaland, or still be less than Mitrovic, then Kane would be top. He would be, well, right up there, wouldn't he? Up there with Haaland, a little bit closer to him, wouldn't he? So yeah, Kane is still looking good. Rodrigo, non-penalty expected goals, 2.04, decent. Zaha, despite the fact that he's got a slightly higher expected goals just because of his penalties, he missed his penalty, didn't he? But still, 1.96 expected goals. If it wasn't for that Man City fixture, I think we would have to be having a very close look at Zaha. Mitrovic's fixtures aren't great, but, you know, he's already done it against Liverpool. What will happen next? So, yeah, what I'm saying, guys, is looking through these players and looking at the high non-penalty expected goals, we can say that these players are really involved, really looking involved. And obviously, it's difficult with forwards because we're all of us, most of us, we've got one of Haaland or Kane. Some of us have got both of those players. We've all got Jesus as well, and he's not going anywhere. So it's difficult to fit in, you know, a Darwin or a Wilson, perhaps. Not that anyone would be going for Darwin whilst he's banned. But going into the midfielders. So if we just have a look at some midfielders, I guess. There are some really nice high non-penalty expected goals here. Rodrigo, Zaha, if not for the fixture. Gordon up there, 1.49. Did you see that coming? Probably not. Martinelli, 1.4. Pascal Gross, 1.29. Bobby Decker-David-Reed, interesting one. Yeah, we've got some really nice options here. So yeah, Rodrigo's, Martinelli's and Gross's will probably be top of my midfield transfer requests, players I want. Into defence, I can't wait for you to see Nico Williams. Let's answer a couple of super chats whilst we wait for that to load. Okay, so we've got a super chat from Simon, who says 2 transfers. Mahrez to Martinelli and Neto to Gross. I like it, Simon. I like it a lot. Janania says, thoughts on Andreas and Kulu to Harrison and Rodrigo in Game Week 5. Not sure I like that. I think I would just stick with Andreas. I mean, why would you sell Andreas? He's doing well. He's doing very well, Andreas. He's the guy. Like, I cannot see in my FPL team without Andreas for the rest of the season. I think Andreas, unless he gets injured, he's probably going to be in my FPL team from game week 1 all the way to game week 38. So I feel like you got to stick with him. Just like insane value. The perfect bench option. Andreas is like built for the bench. Built for the bench. That's what he is. Casper says Trent to Perisic and De Silva to Rodrigo / Zaha. Oh. As an individual transfer, Trent to Perisic is just a diabolical transfer that I definitely would not do. But you're talking about improving De Silva. If De Silva is just going to sit on your bench anyway, or that's, that creates a bench dilemma, then I would not be doing this at all. I'm not going to advocate selling Trent. I just, in general, don't think it's a very good idea. So I'm going to say no. I just don't want to advocate selling Trent. I think that's a kind of a fairly short-sighted. What's short-sighted, but like in the past? I don't know. I'm sure someone much cleverer than me can tell me that. But yeah, I don't think I'll be doing that. Tanin says, Dan man, Chilwell to Zinchenko and Gross in for Bailey didn't work out. I mean, Zinchenko got... that looks like it did work out. Zinchenko got FPL points. Gross got FPL points. Chilwell didn't. And Bailey got a few, but Gross got more, didn't he? Gross outscored Bailey this week. I'm pretty sure. Let's just double check this. I bet Bailey's like... Oh no, yeah, you got 5 points and Gross got 6. So how can you say those transfers didn't work out? You got a net positive points there. It looks good. If I went with Nico Williams and Kundogan, maybe would have been better. I mean, maybe, but, I'm afraid Tanin, hindsight is 2020. Unfortunately for us all. It looks good. FPL Raptor, and I wonder if it's the real Raptor this time. It says recency bias, and I wonder what young Raptor is referring to. Me talking about Andreas, maybe? No, Andreas is a Don. He's a Donny. He's not going anywhere. Anyway, back to our fantasy football hub stats. Sessegnon top for non-penalty expected goals, but Perisic has pretty much mudded him, so he can just be discounted completely. After that, it's the Nico Williams show. It really is. 4 million defender. Look at this, and don't get me wrong, Nottingham Forest aren't keeping a single clean sheet all season. That's an unfortunate fact of life. But that's a decent non-penalty expected goals. I like it. James is up there. Diaz is up there from his headed antics. Walker Peters playing pretty advanced, actually. He scored a goal, didn't he? The other week. Not bad. Yeah. Defenders is a little bit more difficult to find the right player. I mean, maybe we should, rather than that, just go on expected points for defenders. Diaz, Zinchenko, Sessegnon is pretty much mudded. Yeah. Like, the premium defenders are not even performing particularly well on expected points, which is kind of frustrating a little bit, I guess. But we move. It's so early in this season. Tanin says, but we keep pushing, sir. Thanks for the great advice so far. Robertson out this week and -4 for a new midfielder. Look, if you can, if you can significantly improve your team by removing Robertson, then do it, even for a -4. Only if you can significantly improve your team. Same with Saka. But it has to be a significant improvement. Don't do it for some sideways transfers. FPL Raptor says, it is me, mate. You asked what being short-sighted for the past was, and that's recency bias. You're damn right it is recency bias indeed. That wasn't the word I was looking for, though. I was looking for a different word. Hindsight? I think I was looking for the word hindsight. Oh, well. But thank you. I did request someone smarter than me to pull me up on my language, and that's exactly what happened. So, I mean, dubs everywhere. Wheelchair Mafia says, thoughts on Robertson to Zinchenko, Saka to Diaz. Seems really sideways. Can't you just do Saka to Diaz? If you've got anything in the bank, you could just do Saka to Diaz. You don't even need to make 2 transfers. Robertson to Zinchenko does not look like a good transfer this game week. I mean, it doesn't. Now, that is hindsight. That is recency bias. So I would not be doing that. There we go. All right, we're closing in to the end of the stream. Well, I say the end of the stream, the end of the hour. I don't like to keep these strategy streams too long because nobody watches them back otherwise, and I kind of need people to watch these back. It's part of the content. Tanin is giving me his entire team here. He says he says he's got 1 transfer. Let's just read out that Tanin, you always empty your bank account every stream to have a chat with me, which is a bit of a waste of money in my opinion. But I appreciate you nonetheless. I really do. You're keeping me afloat. You're keeping me stocked up in football shirts, my friend. Jesus, Kane, Salah, Gross, Martinelli, James, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Robertson, Cancelo, Zinchenko, Rea. That's just, you've got one transfer. You don't need to use it, my friend. You don't need to use that transfer. Your team looks absolutely banging. Like, there is nothing wrong with that team. It looks good. Keep it. Don't worry. I like that team. I mean, that's pretty much what I would... If I had a wild card right now, my wildcard team would probably look pretty similar to that. Ryan J says, thoughts on a -4, Saka and Nico Williams out to Rodrigo and James. I like it. I kind of like it, yeah. I mean, have you got Martinelli already? If not, maybe Saka to Martinelli just to get that Arsenal attacking cover. But there we are. But yeah, Saka and Nico Williams. Like, if you've got to start you've got to start your Nico Williams slot anyway, then going for Rodrigo and James, that's an improvement. Like, even if you don't go for Martinelli, even if you go for Rodrigo and James, that's an improvement. I like it. Even for a -4. People are asking about Neto to Gross. Yeah, it's just a straight up normal, good, sensible move. I like it. I like it. Right, guys. Yeah, we're gonna have a look at some price changes before we hop off. Please do like the stream, by the way, guys. And if you haven't subscribed already, I think we must be so close to 150,000 subscribers. We must be. We are 78 subscribers away from 150k. Now, I'm not saying we're gonna do it in this stream, but those of you watching this stream back, maybe you can help me out. Maybe you can help me out. Let's have a look at some price changes. Of course, we're still on Fantasy Football Hub because they are the best. And we are seeing how this works, guys, is if a player is over 100, if their target is over 100, that means they're probably going to go up in price at 2 a.m. UK time tonight. And if their target is at -100, that means they're probably going to go down in price overnight tonight. Probably being the operative word. Trippier's going up. If you told me, like, I don't know, 2 days ago that Trippier was going to rise in price off the back of a game against Manchester City, I would have told you you're crazy. Zaha is about to play Man City and he is due a price rise. Welcome to knee jerk. Population FPL managers. There is so many knee jerkers. It is what it is. It be what it be. Jesus going up. I mean, we all know Jesus was priced way too low, so you can't really complain about that one. Even at 8.2, even at 8.3, even at 8.4, even at 8.5, you still buy Jesus. So it is what it is. Gundogan, yeah, you can understand why he got up. And Ward. I doubt Ward will go up in price. I reckon that's being inflated by wildcarders, if I'm honest. Some of these other players, though, potential to go up tonight, but almost certainly will this week. Henderson will go up this week. Mitrovic will go up this week. Nico Williams might go up this week. Perisic will definitely go to 5.5 this week. Some people are saying he might even go up to 5.5 tonight. De Bruyne will go up again this week. He'll go to 12.2 this week. You can just see it coming. Sanchez, similar situation. You can imagine that maybe Zinchenko and Odegaard, a Pope might go up as well in price by the end of the week. Going to the last page, let's see who's dropping down. Mahrez is probably going to go down to 7.8 tonight. Lamptey, Fornals, Lingard, Sterling, Benrahma, Guehi. How many people own these players? Let's be real. Maybe Sterling, a few people. Now Rashford is currently due to drop down to 6.2, but I think after that performance, that's going to change. I think that's going to change quite drastically. So I think although it looked like Rashford might drop to 6.2, I think we're going to see the opposite in effect. Someone random is back. Thank you very much for some reason, £20 super chat. That's 3 beers. Or 2 beers if you're in London. I appreciate that so much. You're an absolute legend. You're keeping me in football shirts. Hi there again. I think Trossard finally going to pay out. Yeah, it could do. It would be good to see him moving into those advanced positions with what's his name? Estupinan moving into that left wing back position. Trossard playing as a cam, probably alongside Pascal Gross. Yeah, looks pretty good. I think Trossard's going to finally pay out. I had him since game week 1. I agree with you. And to be honest, I have Martinelli, so I don't think any other midfielder would have been much better than Trossard without hindsight. Well, I mean, maybe Rodrigo. We did kind of think about Rodrigo, didn't we? We did discuss him like pre-season. So although it would be very easy to say, oh, you know, hindsight merchant, that, you know, anyone talking about Rodrigo is a hindsight merchant. I don't think that's necessarily true. I think he had a very good pre-season. I don't think it's unreasonable that people might have seen something they liked in Rodrigo pre-season and gone for him from game week 1. So maybe that's the one exception to that rule. But other than that, I do kind of agree with you. Trossard is one of those players, real differential, that could come up trumps. Tanine, with another super chat, who says, is there a cheaper / easier way to have a chat on a Sunday? Well, I mean, unless you're in a very different time zone than me, it is, of course, a Monday today. I mean, it's a Tuesday for some people. Is there? Yes, there is. Have you heard of? There's some really good websites out there. Often, if you load up like an illegal stream, like an illegal football stream, these websites will pop up on your screen where you can chat to people on like any day you like, and these people are really nice to you. These people, and they're in your area, which is always good. So if you're looking for local singles in your area, maybe that's a cheaper way to have a chat on a Sunday, a Monday, or Tuesday, or whatever day it is where you are right now. I appreciate you, Tanine. Emre says, Walker to Trippier, or is it sideways move? I think it's a bit sideways, my friend. I would be keeping Walker, I think. I would do Walker to Perisic. I think that's an upgrade. Rockstar says, any plans on making a wildcard video for Game Week 4? I think so many people have asked for a wildcard video. I'm cautious not to advocate for a wildcard, because I appreciate that the reason a lot of people will be wildcarding is because they'll be panicking after a poor game week 3, but we all had, like, everyone who had what I would, like, this is really sweeping statements, so please do not take this literally, but a lot of people with fantastic FPL teams had a poor game week in game week 3, and it's not because their team is bad, it's because it's just one of those game weeks. I've said that phrase so many times now that I'm actually doing my own head in, so apologies for that, but I guess I can do a wildcard video this game week. If enough people want it, then obviously I will twerk for you guys. That is what us YouTubers are born to do. So yeah, I'm happy to do it, but I don't really want to advocate for it necessarily, unless your team really is that bad, pretty much. But there we go, guys. Yeah, let's call it quits there. Let's call it. Thank you so much for watching today. If you wouldn't mind leaving a like, that really would be massively appreciated. Please do subscribe, and if you want to check out Fantasy Football Hub and all of their wonderful tools, their My Team tool, their Optastats tool, their everything tool, their million tools that they have that are all amazing, do go check the link in the description. You get 30% off right now, and I get a commission and I buy more football shirts, so I'm a very happy boy as well. But yeah, that's it from me today. Make sure you go check out the tier list video if you haven't done already. Plenty more content to come. Buy, sell, keep, avoid tomorrow. Hopefully see you guys there, and I will see you later, mates. I'm sweating. It's time to go. It's time to calm down and assess the new game week. See you later, mates.